party people. Jeff Stormer here, welcoming you to the Party of One 100th episode Super Spectacular. That's right, party people, it is our 100th episode, if you can believe that. And to celebrate this momentous occasion, I am joined by friend of the show, author, comic artist, and host of the Voice of Free Planet X, Jared Axelrod, as she steps into the GM's chair to run me through a special, custom-made Apocalypse World hack starring none other than Up in the Sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman. I've wanted to play a Superman game on Party of One since we started this show, so this is an absolute dream come true for me, and I want to get to the show as quick as possible. So, that said, let's throw it over to me in the past so that he can get started with the show. Take it past me.
Thanks, future me. This week, I'm sitting down once again, Jared Axelrod. Jared, thanks so much for coming back on Party of One.
Oh, thanks for inviting me back. I always love to return to podcasts. This is a known fact about me, and yet I so rarely do.
Well, you're back now.
I know. Feels good. Feels like home.
So, as we always do at the top of the show, take a moment to talk about all the cool projects you're working on at the moment.
Oh, geez, so many. The main thing is raising a tiny baby. That has taken up so much of my time, and she is adorable and wonderful, but a bit of a time sink. I won't lie to you.
Yeah, that's what I hear. It's in the dev notes.
I also do a podcast that's currently on hiatus because of the tiny baby, called the Voice of Free Planet X, which is a fake interview show done in the style of like This American Life or any other NPR-esque interview shows, but instead of interviewing regular people about how fascinating their ordinary lives are, I interview fictional people, aliens, robots, witches, monsters, superheroes, really a bunch of people. There's we won a Parsec last year, which is exciting.
Which is incredible.
And got nominated for another one this year.
I just saw that. Congratulations. That's so cool.
It's pretty exciting. So we'll see if anything happens to that. As they say, honor to be nominated. Mm-hmm. And it really is true because I've been podcasting for a long, long time. Like, I think 12 years this November, I want to say. If not 13, I need to do a check, but more than 10. And back in the day, it was a lot easier to get people's attention and be like, hey, look at this weird podcast I'm doing. There was one website. If you were on Podcast Pickle, you were great. But now there's so much, and there's so many great sci-fi stuff, and there's so many great audio drama stuff, so that we made it past the gauntlet and to be nominated for best short-form large-cast story, of which there are an immense amount of competition of brilliant shows, is great. It's amazing.
Beyond cool. It's beyond cool.
I also do a webcomic right now with Quirk Books called Frankenstein Support Group for Misunderstood Monsters, about, it's what it says in the 10. It's Frankenstein, Dracula, Baba Yaga. They all hang out and shoot the shit, okay, for the most part. And that's been absolutely a blast to write and draw.
It's very, very good. So we are doing something very cool and very different this week. I reached out to you a few weeks ago with a very simple request because it is our 100th episode. It is our 2-year anniversary episode.
A deceptively simple request. I want to throw that in. It's simple on the surface.
It's simple on the surface. It was deceptively simple. It sounded easier. It was easier said than executed, I'm sure. But I told you very simply, because it is our 100th episode, it is our 2-year anniversary, I wanted to do something so special. We're playing a Superman game.
Yay! Not just we're playing a Superman game. You're playing a Superman game.
I am playing Superman.
You are behind the dice this time.
You are game mastering for me, so I'm very excited about it.
Now, I've not listened to all 100 episodes. I'm sorry. Is this the first time you're playing, or has there been other times?
There's been a few other occasions. It's certainly a rare occurrence, but this is certainly the first time I've played Superman.
Wow.
And which is a dream come true.
Aww.
And I could not be more excited. So what game specifically are we playing this week?
Right. So there's a lot of superhero games, and I've played a bunch of them, and there's pluses and minuses to them, but they never really got to what I like about superheroes and Superman in particular, mainly because there's a lot of focus on being a superhero, right? And why not? That's the fun part. But I feel like for a superhero game, you need to have a similar weight on secret identity.
Right. Especially for Superman, because that's so much of his deal.
So I kind of took the best things I love about Apocalypse World. I like Apocalypse World a lot. As far as gameplay goes, it's very dynamic. It's very quick. There's a reason there's like a gazillion for variations on it, hacks and things. Speaking of which, have you played Worldwide Wrestling?
Of course I played Worldwide Wrestling. Of course you have.
So good. Nathan Follett is a genius. Way to take something like Apocalypse World and make it even better.
Worldwide Wrestling, go buy it right now, because it's amazing.
It's so good. So I really like that. So I wanted to take that with its very simple actions. And one thing I like about it is the way it's set up. It kind of forces you to play failures in the way a lot of games, if you fail, then it's up to the game master to kind of say how that happens. And Apocalypse World flips that. Is like, if you fail, you need to describe how that happens. And there's also that nice little middle ground where you succeed, but also it takes something. And I've always liked that. So I'm taking that, but I'm also taking some elements from Fate. Really like Fate, as all writers do.
It is a writer's game.
It is.
It's my favorite for that reason.
Yeah, in the same way that Dungeons and Dragons and It's Ilk is very much a mathematician's game.
Yep.
Social math.
Yep.
Fate is very much a writer, and you're writing down phrases and using those and using fate points and things like that. So we kind of mash those together in this game. So you have... Here, I'm just going to hand you your character sheet.
Excellent.
And I went ahead and made you a full character sheet for Superman, even though we know you're playing Superman.
Yes.
And part of the reason I did that is one thing I like about the Apocalypse World character sheets is they have all the moves you can choose listed, but you don't get to choose all of them. And I feel like this is a very important element in character creation because it makes you think about the choices you're not taking. And that helps define the character. So any of these moves, these superhero moves that you are going to have access to, I think you get choose 2. Did I say 2?
Yes, 2 superhuman moves, 1 secret identity move.
Right. So any of those super moves will give you a very comic accurate Superman. But they have different things for different values. And then you also have, as you said, your secret identity moves. These are... special moves that are Clark Kent based and are very important in that way.
Now, you tweeted a picture of this yesterday, and I do want to note that I have been obsessively reading it, zooming in and reading this, so I've got a pretty good idea of what I'm grabbing.
Excellent.
As far as secret identity moves, I'm thinking I'm going to go with mild-mannered reporter. When you have time to talk with someone, you can read them more deeply, roll plus sharp. On a 10 plus, we hold some things, and I get to ask them some questions. That feels like a very good...
That's good.
That, for me, is the essential Clark Kent thing. And as far as my 2 super moves, I think I'm going to get +1 hard, Man of Tomorrow, doing all sorts of exceptional things. I really like Faster Than a Speeding Bullet.
Remind me what that does again.
When you act under fire, roll plus hard instead of plus cool. Just doing things, throwing myself into danger, so to speak, is the essential Superman.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go with able to leap tall buildings in a single bound, name your escape route and roll plus hard. On a 10 plus, you're gone. On a 7 and 9, you can go or stay, but if you go, it costs you something. There's nothing quite like leaping out of a window, flying to safety.
It's true. So you'll also notice on your character sheet there are 2 boxes. One says super and the other says hero.
Yes.
So throughout the game, there are going to be opportunities in your Clark Kent guys to gain super points and hero points.
Okay.
Super points are going to allow you to add 1 to any roll.
Okay.
And you can use, if you have like 5 of them and you roll a 3, you can go ahead and add all 5.
Okay.
And do that if you want. Hero points are going to be instant successes.
All right.
Obviously, there are more opportunities for super points than there will be for hero points. And the big difference in that is, you see an old lady who needs help crossing the street. Super point, you help her cross the street. Hero point, you realize that she's about to have a heart attack. And take her to the hospital. So there's that going a little extra mile is what does it. Or an even better example. So edit this in as the better thing. Clark and Lois are hanging out late at the Daily Planet. Lois said she'd love some Chinese food. A super point if you go to Chinese food place down the street. A hero point if you go all the way to China.
Mm-hmm. That's perfect. That's a real Superman. That's good.
Yeah. So
I've chosen my stats.
You've chosen your stats.
I've got +1 cool, +3 hard because I'm the man of tomorrow.
Yeah.
-2 hot, +2 sharp, and -1 weird. I like having -1 weird because Clark Kent is a dork.
He's a dork. He's not very aware of the psychic energy around him.
No matter how powerful he is, he's still kind of a...
Also, he's not good at seducing people.
He's not.
That's the main thing for hot is seduction and manipulation. And so
those aren't Superman
things.
Things. I felt that was the right call.
Yeah, you picked a really good combination of stuff. So, a couple questions I have for you before we begin.
All right.
Because this is your game, and I want you to have fun. So, what era of Superman does this take place? And by that I mean, what's his relationship with Lois Lane? Are they married? Does she know he's Superman? What is the sitch?
I think I'm going married.
They're married?
Married.
All right.
Full married.
Lois and Supes. Nice. That's good. That changes things. That's good. In a good way. So this is like, this is a nice kind of post-crisis.
Yeah.
Maybe, but pre-death Superman.
Yeah.
They were married pre-death, right? It's so hard to tell.
I believe so.
They're definitely married post-death.
They are definitely married post-death. I'm pretty sure they get married. I'm pretty sure the marriage of Superman is before the death of Superman.
Okay. Who remembers?
There's so many. There's so many things.
So many. It's the crises.
It's the crises.
Crises on infinite Earths just screw everything up.
Well, regardless of where it lands in the particular continuity, for me, I think I'm always pro them being married. Because I think...
Me too.
I think that's where
it's a nice dynamic. Yeah. It's a really nice dynamic. I think it's something that is not... Like, her not knowing has some charm.
Mm-hmm.
And the idea of Lois not seeing Clark Kent, and that's why she never connects him to Superman, that's got some punch to it, but, you can get that from a lot of other characters.
Yeah.
And so for them to be married and just have a different but still fun dynamic is really great. So we'll go with that. Yay. Alright, so we begin in the Daily Planet.
Of course.
Clark, yourself, is, you're at work, dutifully typing, as you normally do.
My desk is a bit of a mess.
A bit of a mess
because I've gotten there a few minutes late, and I'm flustered.
You're a little flustered. Well, you're flustered for a couple reasons. Namely, Lois did not come home last night.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Which is not terribly unusual. She's had late nights before.
Sure.
She's a work, but she didn't tell you she was not coming home.
That's what's unusual.
That's what's unusual there.
If she had told me she was chasing down a lead or something, I would let her to it, but she usually tells me those things.
So this is unusual. And then Perry comes in and is livid. Looks at you, is like, Kent, what are you working on? Your resume?
Typing up a story, Chief.
Typing up a story? Is it a front page story? Because Lois hasn't given me a front page story, so I'd better have something. Where is she?
I haven't seen her. Can give her a call if you want.
I can give her a call, Kent. You don't think I've tried? You think I know how to use a phone? Probably wasting her time talking to too many people. Bet she's chatting up a janitor as we speak. Was this always talking to janitors, garbage men?
Have you tried calling her though, sir?
I'm a busy man.
Okay, just wanted to confirm.
I know how phones work, Kent.
I didn't think you did, but I will give her a call. So I am going to gather up my papers in a big pile, hand him the last story that I wrote. It's not a front page story.
No.
Clark Kent doesn't write front page stories.
I mean, sometimes he does.
Sure, but I think his passion...
But he knows when they're... yeah.
So he hands him a real human interest story, and kind of like...
What's this, page 6? This is page 6 written all over. And where's Olsen? I haven't seen Olsen all day.
You know what? I'll go track him down and we will figure out where Lois is. How does that work? Why don't you just sit back at your desk, relax, How can
I relax? I don't have a front page!
I bet there's just a really craft-made coffee waiting for you. And at that moment, I take a quick step back and with all of the speed endowed to me by Earth's yellow sun...
Yes.
I head exactly to Perry White's favorite coffee shop in all of the city.
Mm-hmm.
And I get him his exact order. I manage it myself, because this isn't the first time there's just been a coffee waiting for Perry at his desk. And I whip it up at the desk. The store is not, the store maybe is just opened, and I'm just whoosh, in and out. Perry, I bet Jimmy has your perfect coffee waiting for you. You know he's very good at getting your coffee ready. Why don't you just go back, relax, take a sip, take a breather. You seem a little tired. You might need a little bit of caffeine.
I was just in my office. There's no coffee. Wait, there's no...
He's very good. He's very good.
I knew there was something about that boy. I've always known it. That gives you a super point.
All right.
Nicely done. Alright, so, Lois is missing. Her desk is right across from yours.
Alright.
What's your plan?
I think my plan is,
Jimmy too. Jimmy's gone.
Jimmy and Lois are gone. This might look like a job. Not yet. Maybe. I'm gonna take a quick jaunt to the roof.
Okay.
And just stand on top of that globe.
Sure.
Maybe just take a sit. And try to listen around some of their usual haunts. Crime Alley, Bibbo's Docks, that sort of, get a handle on the usual places. See if I can't sense a few leads.
Well, give me a weird roll.
Alright. That is an 8, 7. It's a 7.
Yeah, that's a 7. So,
opening my brain on a 7
Yeah.
and 9, you will give me an impression.
I will give you an impression. Oh, all right. Oh, there's trouble in River City.
Oh, there's trouble in River City. Okay.
Trouble in Metropolis.
All right.
Something is definitely not right. You're pretty attuned to the city. You live there.
Yeah.
But it seems like there's something a little darker, something a little more, let's say it, deadly about the city right now that you are not entirely comfortable with. There's gives you a bit of a shiver, which not a usual feeling for the invulnerable Man of Steel.
Nope. That's a sign that I need to leap into action. So I flash back down to my desk.
Mm-hmm.
I put up the back in 5 sign.
Yeah, sure.
It's a little paper sign. Clark Kent's not the most tech savvy. He doesn't know how to set up an out of office email, so it's just a little paper envelope. And into the closet, out the window, and we're off.
And you're off as Superman. All right. Well, off to where?
I am zipping around, trying to spot for any sort of scenes of chaos and catastrophe. I think that Superman, the second that he dons the cape and is out the window, he probably scoops up a car before it hits something. He
Sure.
does a few
Helps a kitten out of a tree.
Yeah,
Yeah, sure.
just to get into the swing of things, get into the groove.
Absolutely. I definitely think that happens.
Mm-hmm.
Completely and totally. One thing you notice is that there's the 5th Street Bodega, which is not a place you've been,
Right.
like, as a customer, but you know of it. You've passed it.
Lois swears by it.
Sure.
Says it's the best breakfast sandwich in the city.
Yeah, she loves their bimbap pierogies.
Mm-hmm.
You go there, and you pass it. You're passing it. And it is decimated.
Oh, no.
And not only is it decimated, it is, there's a weird kind of, you don't see it with your normal vision, but with your supervision, there's a sort of alien, we'll say radiation, but it's not radiation.
Right.
But we're going to say radiation in the comic book way of calling something radiation that isn't.
Yep.
It is certainly radiating from the thing, and it is definitely extraterrestrial, definitely alien, definitely foreign in a way that you have never seen before.
Okay. I'm gonna use my X-ray vision, use my supervision to immediately. My first priority is to make sure that no one is still in the bodega, that there's no one left in the wreckage. That
I am not even gonna have you roll for this because it's clearly been cleared out.
Okay.
There's police tape.
Okay.
There's nothing in there, but it's been a recent thing, but there's no one in there right now.
Okay, good. That's my first priority. My second priority is to get to the bottom of exactly what this alien radiation is. And I'm going to respectfully step under, not fly over, step under the police tape.
Yeah.
I don't want to disrupt it.
Sure, of course not.
And try to survey the area and pick up where this radiation is coming from. What might be giving it this aura?
Give me you're reading the situation, so give me a roll plus sharp.
Okay. Yeah. That is 3, 4, 5. That is a failure.
It's a failure. So, on a 5. Yeah, so, why do you fail this? You're Superman.
I think I failed this because...
I have an idea if you don't have anything, but I want to leave it open to you.
I think I failed this because I am trying to... I think to a certain extent I'm reading the smoke or the fire from... I'm trying to read the fire from the smoke. I'm like picking up where these waves are coming from, where I'm sensing it, but like that's not quite the way to like find the source of the fire, right? Like I'm kind of swatting at the smoke, but there's got to be something deeper that I'm missing. I think that it's the radiation, but there's probably a deeper element that I'm missing.
I'm going to also say you were distracted because when you walked into this, you stepped on a pen.
Oh.
A writing pen.
Oh, no.
Your writing pen.
Oh, no.
Which means that it was Lois's writing pen because she's always taking your pens.
She's always taking my pens. I buy her new pens every single week. They're in the cupboard.
Right. And you have the red pens and she has the blue pens.
Yes.
And she always takes your red pens.
I should just start buying her red pens, honestly. I'm going to start buying her red pens.
That's a good attitude.
I'm going to get her a really nice fountain pen for her birthday. She's going to love it.
So while you don't know the origins of this strange radiation, you do know that Lois was here.
That's always... it's worrying that Lois was here, but it's also a good sign that Lois was here. It means I'm on the right track. Because Lois has the greatest senses of any human that I've ever met. My super senses pale in comparison to her journalistic hunches. So if she was onto something, that means this is exactly where I need to be. So I'm gonna... Now I'm going to start scanning the city a little bit more closely and see if I spot any more of these any more sites of radiation, any more recent catastrophes, any more recently leveled buildings, that sort of thing.
All right, give me another weird roll.
All right. That is a 5, 4. That is another failure.
All right. So here's the thing: is that yes, you do sense the radiation in the city, but it is too diffuse and also too widespread for you to pinpoint. It's like, this is not the only instance of this.
Oh, okay then.
But you can't like pinpoint like, it's coming from here or there or anywhere.
Right. Okay. So the whole city, something has fallen upon the whole city.
I bet Lois probably knows.
She probably does. She's so smart. Okay. I'm going to...
You may just want to toss this out there. Check her notes to see what she was up to.
Okay, I found a pen. I didn't know if I found a notebook.
Well, yeah, but you share an office.
That's true. I do share an office. So she's not going to like it. But if it means that I have to try. All right,
try.
I'm back in the office. Clark Kent stumbling around.
Mm-hmm. Well, you found her day planner, fortunately.
Great.
Right before... She had 3 interview appointments yesterday. One with a woman named Sylvia Petrusky, with the note victim next to it. Also, pierogi, ? And then pierogi underlined.
Okay.
The next was Lex Luthor. And then the third was a symbol with an I. Like a, as you see, not the letter I, with a question mark next to it. And you know that is Lois's, like, personal code for her informants.
Ah, okay. Interesting. She was definitely on to something. There's no better place to start than with the likeliest suspect, Mr. Alexander Luthor.
All right.
So I think I find my way directly into his office.
Sure. Are you going as Clark Kent or Superman?
Oh, I'm going as Superman, without a doubt. There's radiation, there's buildings being demolished. This is...
Might I say that this would be an excellent opportunity to gain both super and hero points for later if you go as Clark Kent.
That's a good point. Yeah, I'm definitely going as Clark Kent.
I don't want to tell you how to play.
No, I think you're absolutely right. No, I think you're absolutely right, especially considering that I am a mild-mannered reporter.
It's true, like, this would be a really, if you want to use that move.
And it gives me the great visual of Clark Kent stumbling, handful of papers into Lex's lobby, talking to Mercy and saying, "No, I need 5 minutes. Come on, please, just 5 minutes with Mr. Luthor."
So you go to LexCorp Tower, beautiful building, nice part of Metropolis, right next door to a very nice French bakery. Love that place. Croissants are excellent. Farther up from that is gourmet chocolate place. Makes you think of Lois. Right, so you go in, the receptionist, she is having a very bad day. She has a Eiffel Tower stress toy that she is squeezing to bursting. She looks back at her calendar, which has these beautiful scenes of Paris on it, and then just kind of like rips it off the wall and scribbles something on it. She is answering 3 phones at once, talking about how some things are canceled, some things are now on. She's having the worst possible day.
I reach into my pocket, and I hang there for a second. There's an almost imperceptible blip, and I stumble up and I say, excuse me, I need to, Clark Kent, Daily Planet, I need to speak with Mr. Luthor. I'm sorry, this is gonna sound ridiculous, but,
What? Spit it out!
My wife and I, vacationed in Paris. We just got back from our honeymoon, and, I happen to have some authentic Parisian bonbons. Would you happen to want one?
You got these from, they're like, what, from 3 days ago?
They're from, they are, but you, tasting them, you would think that they just came out of the oven.
So, where did you get these bonbons?
They came straight from the finest Parisian chocolate shop. There's a chocolate shop. It has just opened. The chef puts the first tray of bonbons down, looks, and there's euros on the counter, a little bit extra,
Sure.
and one box of bonbons missing. And he's like, they're a few days old, but I promise if you taste one, they taste just completely fresh.
Take a hero point in that. She's like, fine, whatever. She takes one, she bites into it distractedly, and then just this aura of bliss falls over her face. And she's like, says into the phone that she's holding, I'll call you back. Puts it down and is like, how may I help you, sir?
Clark Kent, Daily Planet, despite the fact that he's got the name tag on his jacket.
Sure.
I was hoping to talk to Mr. Luthor for a few moments, just to ask him a few questions.
She starts to give you a smirk and is like, yeah, I'm sure everybody wants to talk to Mr. Luthor. Yeah, okay. Do you really want me to call him? He's gonna say no.
If you could tell him that this is regarding his appointment with Mrs. Lane yesterday, that would be spectacular. I believe I'm just following up on a few questions regarding an interview that the two of them had together. Just some natural, just getting some boilerplate for the puff piece interview.
Okay. It's very busy today. So she hits a button and is like, Mr. Luthor, what was your name?
Clark Kent, Daily Planet.
A Clark Kent is here to see you. He doesn't have an appointment. And then over the speaker is like, Kent, you say? Send him on up. And she's like, right this way. There's the elevator. You want to take not the second, third, fourth, or fifth, but the first one, the one that doesn't have any buttons.
Okay.
You will need this key card to get into it. You will need this key card to get out of it. And it should take you right to Lex's floor.
Thank you so much. These bonbons are gonna melt in my pocket. Just enjoy the rest of the box. Have a lovely day.
You do the same, Mr. Kent.
And he heads into the elevator.
Sure.
He comes out of the elevator, and he's not full on in Superman mode.
Mm-hmm.
But I think there's a different Clark Kent.
Sure.
He comes out. He's no longer got the bundle, like the handful of papers. He's arranged them into a folder. He's now standing a little more upright. Shoulders are a little more broad. As he comes out.
So there's a long hallway from the elevator to Lex's office. There's no other doors. There is no other room on this floor but Lex's office. On the way, though, you do pass a janitor who was cleaning up the carpet. And then there's Lex's office.
I stop and I smile and I give a friendly smile and a warm, good morning, how are you?
Oh, I'm fine. Thanks for... how are you?
I'm good. I'm very, very good. Clark Kent, Daily Planet, pleasure to meet you.
Ah, Daily Planet. You know Lois?
I do. I do. We are acquaintances.
She's a nice gal.
Stop from blushing as I say the word acquaintances.
She's a great gal. She ever find that guy?
Which guy is that?
The one she was looking for. I told her about him.
I don't know.
I guess you two weren't close.
I guess not. But I actually am here to follow up on a few questions on an interview she had with Mr. Luthor. So if you have any comments if you have any other info about it.
Oh, just that there was a guy who met with Luthor earlier, and she wanted to talk to him, and so he left his card. Luthor didn't want it, of course, but just in case Luthor wanted more merchandise, Luthor threw it out in the trash. Guess who has to take that out, right?
Of course.
But it was a neat card, so I wanted to keep it because I have a bit of a collection.
Sure, absolutely.
Of all the business cards that Luthor throws out. Some of them are really cool looking. I got a binder I could show you back at my place.
I happen to have reporters being reporters, I've met a few people, and have you ever seen Mayor Berkowitz's business card?
Do you mean his current card or the one before the scandal?
The one before the scandal.
Oh, no, he had those burned.
Okay. He had most of them burned. And I flip through my wallet, and I pull out the card, and it's got his old number, the one that's been discontinued because of the scandal.
Yeah,
and reporters. Yeah. I say reporters, but it was Lois. It's got his old number, and it is actually a very beautiful business card. And I'm like, take a look at this.
Oh, that's nice. That's rare.
It's yours.
What? No, I couldn't. I
have no. The numbers on it don't even work. I got no place for it.
Well, I mean, if you're certain, I'll take
100%
it.
100% certain.
Take a super point for that.
All right.
That is great.
And so if you could do me a favor.
Sure, anything.
If you could take a look at that business card in your collection. I'm not asking for it. I don't want to disrupt your collection, but if you could, and I write down my cell number.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, if you could text me any phone numbers, names, that sort of thing on the card.
Oh,
that would be tremendously.
Will do.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have just the best day.
You too.
And he smiles, and he walks into the door into Luthor's office, and the smile kind of drops into like a cocksured grin as it's, "Morning, Lex."
So, Lex is in his gigantic office.
Right.
That overlooks the city. There's, of course, the tank of sharks on the side.
Yep.
He's there with Mercy Graves. Mm-hmm. He is not behind his desk. He is standing in front of it.
I'm imagining this pose with the hands behind the back.
Even more of a power move. He's like leaning against it with his hands this, spread out.
Good.
So you can see that he is in control of the situation. And he's like, "Kate! Good to see ya."
Always a pleasure, Lex.
You know, you say that with a certain reserve, and I like your forthwithness, because it is a pleasure for me to talk to you. See, other people, other reporters, they play close to the chest. They say one thing and they write another. You can't. You never hide your disdain. I like that. I like the honesty. I like the directness. I like it because I know where I am with you.
That's the Midwestern charm, Lex.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, we know how to be polite. Not nice, but polite. So, pleasure to see you, Lex.
Well, I'm absolutely happy to hear that. You know, Kent, I own every single paper in Metropolis except yours. Every single one. I have a man. You know what this man does? His sole job is to call the owner of the Daily Planet every day and make an offer. And every day he increases that offer by $1,000. I haven't hit the right number yet.
Not yet.
But I will. Because I have patience, Kent. I have a patience of a saint. And I will wait as long as it takes to get what I want. Put that in whatever you're writing.
Will do, Lex. But first, I gotta ask you a few questions.
Oh, by all means. I assume that's why you're here.
That is, in fact, why I'm here. You had an interview with, Miss Lane.
No, I didn't.
You
had to
not.
cancel.
You had to cancel. Why so?
I don't think that's relevant here. I'm a busy man. Things get canceled all the time. Mercy, how many things have I canceled today? She says it's 14. 14, Kent, and it's not even noon.
It's not even noon.
I'm a busy man. I had to cancel 3 people just to talk to you.
And I very much appreciate it.
One of them, who knows, a colleague of theirs is going to show up tomorrow and ask what the meeting was about. And I'm going to have to go through the same song and dance again. But I don't care. Because I value the press. I value your role in our democracy. Put that in your paper.
I will. Will do, Lex. But first, if you could do me the solid, reporter to entrepreneur, what were you meeting about?
No clue.
No clue, really?
She wanted to talk to me, and I'll admit with you, Kent, I was nervous about it, because unlike you, Lane is cagey.
She sure is. Again, fighting the blushes.
And in fact, I was looking forward to meeting with her. But, I'll have you know, she canceled on me.
Really?
Yes.
Now, why were you looking forward to meeting with her? Big news?
I'm going to be honest with you, Kent.
Appreciate it.
She said she had something on me that was incriminating.
That sounds like Lois.
Indeed. And I like to know what she's got. And now, obviously, I've had no criminal proceedings. I am clean, Kent. I am clean. If I was not clean, well, I would be arrested already.
That's fair. You would.
But I want to know who is slandering me, and I want to keep your paper, which I do not own yet.
Do not own.
From printing libel. Because you don't need that hassle.
We don't. We're better than that.
Indeed.
We're the kind of paper that Superman would look at, and he would buy one of our papers.
Does he even have money? Where does he put it in that suit? I don't think he uses money. I don't think he has any use for it. I wonder what skeletons he's got in his closet. I wonder why no one's arrested him.
I guess we'll never know.
There's a lot of criminals in this town, Kent. A lot of criminals. Some of them are regular shoot-'em-up types. Some of them are costumed yahoos. You've lived here. You've seen them.
I've seen them. They're criminals of all kinds, Lex.
They call themselves supervillains. Can you imagine the grandiosity to look at yourself in the mirror and say, yes, I am not just a villain. I am a supervillain. What gets me, Kent, is they are amateurs.
Are they now?
Do you know where they go wrong, each and every one?
Please tell me.
They all want power. But none of them have the slightest idea what they would do with it once they had it.
Not like you.
No! I know exactly what I do with the power I have. Exactly.
Of course you do.
So you're looking for Lane?
Yes.
Bet Superman can help you find her.
I bet he could.
Can't you, call him? Does you have one of them Signal Watch doohickeys? Maybe an iPhone app?
The iPhone app is, on the fritz. The Signal Watch is a little bit fried at the moment, but, I'll put out an APB, and I'm sure he'll turn up.
Oh! I guarantee he'll turn up. In fact, let me help you out. What's a number, Kent? Give me a number.
1938.
1938. Alright. 1938. Mercy? He goes over to his desk, pulls out a checkbook, scribbles in it, and tears something off. Says, Mercy, this is a check for $19,000,038. I'm going to give this to you. All you have to do for it is jump out that window. Oh, $19 million is a lot of money. Not my idea. This is all Kent. If you don't do it, you're fired. So Mercy looks at Lex, looks at you, gives you kind of a disdainful look.
Fair.
Shrugs her shoulders, opens the window, and jumps right out.
Clark,
You can take a moment, because Clark sees things happen at super speed, so we can give this a moment for you to figure out the situation.
Clark? He goes, Lex, you are... And Clark jumps out the window. After. He,
And Lex Luthor says, I did not expect that!
jumps out, is a little bit far, and just before Mercy hits the ground, because she's going to hit the ground first, flash of blue, flash of red, as the both of them are swept up, or at least it looks like, there's a little, it's a whole blur. There's a little bit of Clark's signature gray.
Sure.
It's all just a blur of colors as Superman swoops in, puts Mercy, Mercy is set on the roof across the street. The blur, before she even gets a chance to fully process the visual that she's the only one in Superman's arms, the blur is gone, and Clark Kent is back in Lex's office. There's a blur. Clark is... I guess you were right.
Lex Luthor sees that you're here, sees also that Superman's not here, closes a drawer he had opened in his desk, and says, Ha! Did you ask him anything?
Dang it, I completely forgot. You know how it is, absent-minded.
Sure thing. Well, hope this was an informative meeting for you. I hope you understand what is capable. If you understand what you can do with power.
It absolutely was. It was an eye-opening meeting as always. And really, always a pleasure, Lex.
Indeed. Always have a lot of fun with you, Kent.
And he gets up and walks out. Right out the same door he came. And he passes the janitor. He smiles at him. He puts in that first key card. And as soon as that doorway opens, the key card is back on the receptionist's desk, who I imagine is swirling in her chair.
Oh, before I forget, give yourself 2 super points and a hero point for that whole rigmarole.
Right.
That was great.
I felt pretty good about it. The key cards are back on the receptionist's desk, and Superman is off to have a meeting with Sylvia Petrovsky. And perhaps a pierogi. It is lunchtime.
It is lunchtime. Sylvia Petrovsky is a very nice elderly woman. So you're coming as Superman.
Yes.
So she's very nice. And so when you open the door to her tiny apartment, she is very surprised to see Superman. She's like, "Oh my god, what happened? Is he dead?"
I'm sorry, is who dead?
Oh, I was worried you're coming about my husband, June. Is he okay?
Is something wrong with your husband?
Well, yeah, he's in the hospital.
What happened?
I mean, don't you know you're Superman? I live in Metropolis. I thought you would know.
Refresh my memory.
You're gonna have to... She is now very suspicious of you. So give me a hot roll to kind of reassure her that you are who you say you are.
That is a failure. Wait. 6, that's 7, 6, 5, 6, 7. I will take a partial success on that.
Alright. So they need some concrete assurance that you are in fact Superman and that you're not up to something.
Okay. Then as I walk in, I say, well, I see, and I read off his chart to an alarming accuracy. Almost as though I had just read it. I read off his medical chart and I say, well, I see he sustained some serious injuries, but I assure you his favorite flower, there's a bouquet of his favorite flowers waiting for him. No expense has been spared for a comfort package that I promise you will lift his spirits like no one else's. I take care of the people of Metropolis because they take wonderful care of me.
Take a super point.
All right.
She's like, okay. How were you able to know his chart?
I went through every single chart in that hospital until I found one that's...
Oh, so you flashed over to the...
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Just check.
Of course. No,
I mean, there was no wrong answer. I was just curious. Well, she's like, oh, well, here.
And then I knew his favorite flower because...
Sure.
I know. Superman knows.
Superman knows. So she leads you over to the couch. On the couch is an incredibly fat cat.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, shoo, Muffles, make some room.
No, please. And I pick up the cat and I set him in my lap and I pet him.
Take another super point for that. And she's like, here, I'm sorry the place is such a mess. It is spotless.
Of course.
I just made some pierogies. June always loved these. They're special bimbap pierogies.
After we're finished here, I will bring the tray over to him. They'll be there when he wakes up. You have my word. I'm Superman after all.
Oh, I couldn't ask you to do that, but please, have a pierogi.
I will have one. I'm on the job. The rest are for June. He needs a pierogi.
Take another super point for that.
And he says, so tell me, what happened to June? I see his injuries, but I don't know what happened.
Oh, it was horrible. As I was just telling that nice woman from the Daily Planet. It was just awful. The bodega. I don't know if you've been to it. It's the Fifth Street one.
I saw it.
We do the bimbap pierogies. It was in Savia at one point as a Metropolis guilty pleasure. Anyway, that made June's heart swell so much to be in a magazine. I always loved the glossies. Anyway, it was held up. It was very scary because you live in Metropolis.
Of course,
this is probably not news to you. You're bulletproof or whatever. But we've been held up before, and of course June knows what to do, and we handle these things ourselves because we understand that you're out there fighting Michigan kryptonite monsters or whatever. You can't always be there for us, but honestly, when that boy pulled out that, I don't even know what it was. I mean, it was clearly some sort of gun or thing. I didn't get a good look because I was diving behind the counter.
Of course, as you should do. It's the right thing to do.
It seemed like some sort of... Are you a fan of science fiction?
I've been known to read a novella in my time.
It must be weird for you, right? Because it's like, that's your life. I can't imagine you relaxing to science fiction. You probably have like one of those, listen to something about normal people, like an NPR thing, or maybe you read like, I don't know, what do normal people read? I don't know. June's into the pulps.
Well, the truth of the matter is I love science fiction. The possibilities of what human beings can set their minds to, it continues to inspire me.
Well, this looked like something out of a Star Wars or a Star Trek or whatever have you. It was, I don't want to say Death Ray because that seems...
Of course,
it doesn't seem right. But it was this thing, and it just... this beam shot out of it. So I guess it was a death, because the poor boy, I mean, he was trying to hold us up, and he may have killed June in it. That would have been...
How tell me about this boy. How old was he?
Who knows? They're all babies.
They're all babies.
Eyes. You get to a certain age, everyone looks like they should be in diapers. I mean, how old are you? Like 4? You look young.
What did he look like?
Just some kid from the neighborhood, it must have been. He had a mask on, but not like, not like in Metropolis, some people wear masks and some people wear masks. You know what I'm saying? This wasn't any Batman shenanigans. But he just lost control. Like, he didn't know how to use that weapon. It just was using him. He was flying it all around, and took out all of the bodega, nearly took out Muffles, excuse me. I call her Muffins when I get upset.
I understand.
Took out Muffles. Poor June got the burns and stuff. They say it's radiation, but it's not radiation. I don't know. But he's all burned up, and I don't know if he's going to be able to come back to the bodega. And obviously, I don't know where we're going to get the money to rebuild. I mean, we'll get by. We always do. But... whew.
Thank you so much. This has been remarkably informative, and I...
Give me, you can choose either a sharp or a weird roll.
I'm going to give you a sharp. 8, 9, 10.
The weird radiation that was all over the bodega is also all over the cat that's on your lap.
That's odd.
What's that, dear?
Nothing. Tell me, can I ask you a question?
Of course.
So I happen to be good friends with... Surely you're familiar with Clark Kent at the Daily Planet.
I'm not heard of him.
Fair. I have friends at the Daily Planet, and they are always looking for...
That nice plain woman, she works there. You know her?
I do know her.
She's very nice. She had pierogi.
One of her colleagues, Mr. Kent...
Why don't you have a pierogi?
I'll have a pierogi. These are delicious pierogies, by the way.
Thank you. I have another batch in the kitchen.
Excellent. I'll bring those to June. I'm gonna nosh right now. Colleague, Mr. Kent, friends with Miss Lane, runs a weekly column about the true heroes of Metropolis, and I would love to feature you in June.
Oh, no, we couldn't.
No, I insist.
What have we done that's heroic? We make pierogies.
You stood
We'd have a Polish-Korean fusion cuisine.
Sylvia, you stood in the face of a death ray, and you're coming back as soon as your store is built, and he leans forward and gives like that classic smile and wink, and I'm pretty sure it'll be rebuilt sooner than you think.
Oh, that's very kind of you, but honestly,
it'll do June good to be back in the
I'm not
boxes.
sure what's something in a newspaper. No one reads newspapers anymore. But if you wanted to, like, after we get things rebuilt, if you wanted to stop by a few times,
that would be
maybe get your picture that we could put up on the wall.
My pleasure.
I mean, that would be really sweet of you. But you don't have to do that. Oh, I feel embarrassed.
I insist. It would be my pleasure. Listen, the only thing you could do for me in return, where did you get this lovely cat?
Oh, Muffins has been here for years. She's always been the bodega cat. We love her. She's about as old as my Georgie, I guess. Maybe even older. Did we get him before Georgie? Who remembers? Anyway, yeah, she came out of it, thing, not a scratch on her. Bless her soul. I love her so.
Fascinating. Well, I'm so glad that everyone is safe, and I will be bringing these pierogies right to June as soon as he wakes up. But in the meantime, I am going to go get to the bottom of this death ray situation.
Oh, that does my heart so
you
good
have
to
my
hear.
word. After all, this looks like a job for Superman.
Do you want a little baggie? I noticed you don't have pockets.
That would be great. The baggie would be great, actually.
Oh.
And he's back out the window. Yep, now I'm on the hunt for this death ray.
Alright, do you take the pierogies to June?
I do take the pierogies to June.
Alright, take a hero point for that.
Alright.
And that, just because you're on the radiation from his burns, is totally the same weird...
Of course. Yeah, now I'm out hunting for not only radiation, but something that can emit that kind of radiation. Because if I can find out where it's emitting this radiation, now I've got clues, now I've got leads, now I can be a reporter. Now I can get to the bottom of the scoop.
Here's a question for you.
Yes.
About the Superman mythos that I can't answer as a game master. Does Superman carry Clark Kent's cell phone on him when he's Superman?
I believe so.
Where does he keep it?
I think he keeps it tucked into the trunks on the outside of his pants. Like, kind of... So I've got a picture of Superman, and under the belt, basically. Like, there's a compartment in the belt that has his thing, so that he feels it vibrate, and if he feels the phone vibrate, then it is no more flying, it is to the nearest rooftop. And then it's a... Can't phone?
This is a text message. It's not a phone call.
Fantastic.
It is a photo of a binder.
Right.
Several very beautiful business cards. But the one that catches your eye is the one that's in the far corner. Clearly the most recent addition to this binder. And that is... it says... the name on it is I... Just the initial I, and then Kann, so I can.
Mm-hmm.
And the business is Undergang Solutions.
Great.
And there is only an address, not a phone number.
Okay.
And that address, as you know, is an abandoned warehouse down by the pier.
Of course it is. Well, that's my next stop. Boy, all of the leads are coming up. Everything seems to be coming up Kent today. And I'm off to the warehouse.
I guess so. So, this warehouse, you don't even have to...
well, off to the warehouse, second stop, June to the pierogies, and then off to the warehouse.
That's good. So you don't even have to look for the radiation.
Mm-hmm. It's everywhere.
Pouring out of this warehouse. This is nutballs. Mm-hmm. So, obviously the front door is locked, but
yeah,
who gives a crap?
I like making an entrance.
Yeah, of course. Well, it's good that you did, because you have an audience when you come in.
Excellent.
Not only are there many containers of what looked to be crazy alien death ray weapons.
Sure.
But there are 4 people in the warehouse.
Okay.
One of them you recognize as no other than Kanto, the assassin of Darkseid himself.
Of course.
Next to him, of course, is Calabac, the
course.
son of Darkseid. And next to them, tied up and gagged, is Lois and Jimmy.
So I burst through the door, hands on the hips. This looks like a job for Superman. And I smile directly at Lois and Jimmy. And I hold the pose for maybe a half second longer than I need to.
Lois rolls her eyes, but in a loving way.
Perfect.
Jimmy is super excited.
Jimmy's hopping in his chair.
Yeah. And Kanto is like, honestly, you're a little late. Thought you'd be here sooner.
Busy day.
Clearly.
Busy day, a lot of people to visit, a lot of hospital visits. You know how it is.
Calabac starts to move forward and is like, let me at him. And Kanto says, we were given clear instructions.
Oh, come on. Let him have a little fun.
And Calabac just kind of motions and is like, instead, let me have fun. So Kanto kind of gives a, And Calabac is coming at you, dude.
All right. I'm going to go aggro on him.
Yeah, you are.
Give him one solid good haymaker.
Do it.
That is 8, 9, 10, 11.
That's 11. That is awesome.
On a 10 plus, they have to choose. So choose one. Force your hand and suck it up. Cave and do what
This might be more of a seize by force. Oh, yeah, this is definitely
seize by force.
Yeah.
So, on a hit, choose...
Or do something under fire. This can be either one.
I'm going to take seize by force. I am going to inflict terrible harm.
Alright.
Suffer little harm.
Here's how this is going to work.
And impress, dismay, or frighten an enemy.
Those are wonderful. Here's how the harm works, though.
Alright.
With explicit differences, which I will point out when you get hit by them. You do not take harm.
Okay.
You're Superman.
Right, sure.
Lois and Jimmy will take harm.
Right, absolutely.
So you have to watch out for thems. So, they take a little harm.
They take terrible harm.
No. He takes terrible harm.
Yeah.
Kanto takes.
Oh yeah, they take a little harm.
They take a little harm. So let me just toot. All right. Yeah. Well, it's because when you punch Calabac, he takes it, but you knock him right into Jimmy.
Oh.
Which is not nice. You gotta watch that.
So I think the next thing. So yeah, after we resolve this, the next thing is gonna be catch.
Kanto is very impressed because he's seen you guys fight before so many times. But this is the first time you've knocked Calabac across the room. So that's pretty good. But Calabac is not. Change that. Calabac is not. He is not bothered.
Okay.
Because he is a tough son of a bitch, and because he has got armor on.
Sure.
Your terrible harm actually doesn't do any actual damage.
Excellent.
But he is he's a little dismayed and angry. So he's gonna get you. Oh yeah. So he is also gonna seize you by force. And he's gonna just grapple you.
Right.
Get you in for a big bear hug. And let's say, but before he does that, he's gonna clock you upside the head with his beta club. And that does hurt you.
Okay.
So take some damage on that.
Alright.
And he's also gonna take some wounding there. just in this act. Because you're
Right.
hard to fight.
Yeah.
You're a hard guy to fight. And it's like, so you've been clocked. You got a bear hug.
I am going to, I'm going to do what Calabac, I'm going to fight Calabac in the way that Calabac has not planned for by grappling me, which is that I am going to fly him into the ceiling.
Oh, that is a wonderful move. That is a wonderful move. Would you like to use any of your hero points to make that an instant success?
I would absolutely love to do that. Fly him straight into the ceiling.
That's great. And in fact...
Smile at him as he's grappling me and say, good to see you, but you've forgotten one thing. Dunk, right into the ceiling.
Wonderful. Boom, into the girders in the warehouse, and then bang, onto the cement floor. Still got that super armor on, so he's good, but he is clearly dazed.
And then at that point, I'm going to untie Jimmy and Lois. I'm going to get them to safety. Because this is fun for me, but this is certainly not fun for them.
Give me a weird roll.
Okay. That is 4... I'm going to spend 3 fate points and get a 7. Or 3 super points. I'm going to spend 3 super points and get a 7.
All right. So you do realize that while you can get... Wait, who do you untie first?
Lois.
All right. So you untie Lois first. Before you get to Jimmy, Kanto is behind you. And that was a success. So you see him moving at you with a knife.
All right. Then at that moment, I am going to trust Lois get to safety. Because she's Lois and she's incredible. And then I am going to... grab Jimmy, still in the chair, and fly past Kanto, carrying him to safety, and telling him, like, I'll untie you in a moment. There's a little bit going on.
All right, let's see. It's an 8. Yeah. So, Kanto doesn't even throw the knife. He just kind of lets go of it, and it leaps from his hand and rockets toward you, holding Jimmy. And it totally lands right in your side, which is unusual for an invulnerable person such as yourself.
Should I take some harm?
You should take some harm.
All right, I am at 6 o'clock.
Uh-oh. I would in fact say, yeah, you're not shattered yet. That's ridiculous. So yeah, take that harm.
All right.
So he comes out. So you fall down, I'm assuming, having been just stabbed.
Yep. It's not a great feeling.
Not a great feeling. So he comes over to gloat, as is his way. And says, not even someone as powerful as yourself can resist the hunger of the mother knife.
Oh no, I don't like the sound of the mother knife.
Some people have mother boxes. Kanto's got a mother knife.
Sure, absolutely.
Ping,
no,
ping, ping.
That checks out. That tracks.
And he snaps his fingers and it wrenches out of you into his hand again.
Pinging as it goes. Of course. With that, I'm going to smile and I'm going to say, it's a neat trick. Here's one of mine. Eye beams right at him.
Oh, nice. So that's give me just a hard roll.
Okay.
That's definitely a hard move. I don't know if that's aggro or seized by force, but that's a hard...
That's going to be in 9, 10, 11, 12.
Excellent. So yeah, you melt that thing down to slag right in his hand. And he starts screaming because that's hot metal.
Yep.
He's wearing gloves, but they're not that good.
Yep. And then I'm going to, with his mother knife melted, I'm going to turn my heat vision on Calabac's armor.
Okay. Yeah, or you can use...
I'm going to spend a hero point and just melt that armor away.
Sure. Straps go... The armor's invulnerable, the straps are not.
Yep. Of course.
So, armor is gone.
That's that apocalyptian craftsmanship for you. Always cutting corners. They have so much more potential.
So Calabac is going to come at you one more time because he is angry that, his dad gave him that.
Right, of course. I get that.
Oh, that's really good. So that's an 11. So he's going to knock you flat with that beta club. Take one more harm.
All right. And now I'm not holding back as much. Now I'm going to give him... And I'm like, well, the first one... I kind of thought the first one was going to solve it, but I got to give you one more. Right across the jaw. I'm just going to spend a hero point on that.
Yeah.
My third hero point.
Oh, man. So you pound him into the pavement.
Mm-hmm.
That is, boom, slammed down. And just as when you're about to give him another one for good measure, a blue-gloved hand grabs yours and says in a very gravelly voice that I'm not even going to attempt.
All right.
Just imagine. Enough.
Just wondering when you would show up.
I don't normally like to get involved. This is Darkside, obviously.
Of course.
Not at this stage. It appears, it appears that I have misjudged who needed to be in charge of this operation.
I think you misjudged. I think the thing that you misjudge, as you always misjudge, is that if you intend on doing anything on my world, in my city, you're going to have to kill me first.
I have so many other useful plans for you that do not involve your corpse. But I also have ones that do involve your corpse. The time for choosing which one is not today. However, and then the Omega beams come out, and Kanto is now dust.
Yep.
And he picks up Calabac and says, another time, Kryptonian.
Another time.
And
I look forward to it.
The boom tube opens, and he, carrying his poor, misshapen ape boy in his arms, walks back to Apocalypse and says, as do I.
I'm standing, clutching the wound in my side, kind of muttering to myself, that hurt! Wow! Some people just go through this! Whew, okay. And,
once the boom tube closes, it's already starting to heal, so you're...
Yep. And I did not need to see Darkside today. I turn my heat vision on on all of these crates of death ray weapons, and I savor the opportunity to melt these into scrap.
Good job. You totally do it.
And I think there's absolutely a moment where, like, Lois and Jimmy are kind of, like, behind me, because I think Lois has untied Jimmy at this point, and he's probably fine with that. There's probably a moment where they're behind me and I'm just, like, melting it down and I have to have a hand on the shoulder.
Sure. And Lois says, do you need a room?
I'm okay. It's good to see you.
Took you long enough.
It was a busy day. I had a lot of stops to make. Thai food's in the fridge. I figure it'll reheat fine. Jimmy, have you eaten?
Oh, I'm always down to eat.
Great.
You know me, Clark.
Great, because
Wait, Jimmy doesn't know. So, you know me, Superman. I'm always down to eat.
So, you know Clark. He made too much Thai food. So, if you had
shucks, I couldn't eat Clark's Thai food. I'll just grab a big boy burger on my way out.
Okay, but the offer stands. I'm sure he'd be okay with it. And he gives a smile to Lois, who I imagine is not thrilled about the invitation to Jimmy, but...
She, under her breath, she says, you know he can eat like a horse.
I really did make too much of it. Oh, well, I'm gonna... I guess it's not so bad, but I'm gonna, I guess nurse it? What do you do? What does one do? It's fine. It's healed. Everybody, it's healed. I'm okay.
Yeah, you should, go get your mom to fix that uniform.
I should. That sounds like a great idea. I haven't been home in a while. Yep, that's where I'm going. I'll be right back. And he leans at Lois. I will be like an hour. If you just want to go, if you want to start up the oven, I'll be back. and he's out the door, out the hole that he burst, and he's off to Kansas to get his sting. And there, I think. Well, what is that? Is that it?
That's the
all right,
ending.
good.
Yeah, no, that's a great ending.
Because I got a good epilogue, which is
let's hear it.
The epilogue, which is that I'm going to say 1 week later, there is a photo shoot with Superman at the 6th Street Bodega. It's been freshly rebuilt. There's a tiny little Superman S that he's carved into the corner of it. But he's happily standing there for a little bit too long. Like, yep, happy to be here.
Holding the cat.
Yep, petting the cat. And that's our closing shot. Is just happily there at the bodega.
As Sylvia tries to give you yet another pierogi.
They are delicious pierogies. And that's game.
It's extra kimchi. That's what makes them.
It's good. It's a good solid plan. Oh, that'd be good and spicy. That'd be really good.
Yeah.
Jared, thank you so much for coming and playing the Superman game. This was great.
Thank you for having me. It was a lot of fun.
Oh, this was an absolute blast.
Oh.
This turned out, this was everything that I hoped it would be when I gave you this
good.
difficult request. This was awesome.
Because it was not until after I made up the game that I realized that you had been on another podcast talking about your love of Superman. It's like, I should have listened to that first.
You hit on everything that I like about Superman.
Well, and that's the thing is I listened to it this afternoon and I was like, oh, no, I'm fine.
Okay, yeah. you good. You hit on all the good points. So real quick, before we wrap up, where can people find your work online?
Oh, sure. I mean, JaredAxelrod.com is the main hub, but I'm on Twitter at Planet X. And then there's links to everything else on, again, JaredAxelrod.com. Facebook, Instagram. Instagram's Planet X, too. It's mainly pictures of my baby, but,
They're good pictures.
She's very cute.
She's a very cute baby.
And my outfits, which, if you're interested in how I dress, you'll find many images.
Excellent. Well, I'm going to throw it over to me in the future so that he can wrap up with the show.
He's so good.
He's very good. Take it, future me.
Thanks, past me, and thanks again to Jared for coming onto the show. Seriously, when I decided that I wanted to play a Superman game for the 100th episode, there was no one else that I wanted in that GM's chair, so I am so happy that it worked out that we got to play this game this week for this episode. So seriously, thank you so much. Be sure to check out JaredAxelrod.com for links to the Voice of Free Planet X, Frankenstein's support group for misunderstood monsters, and all of the other amazing projects Jared is working on, because they're all amazing. You should also absolutely follow her on Twitter, at PlanetX. Then while you're on Twitter, you can follow us at Party of One Pod. Then you can slide over to Facebook and like the show at facebook.com/partyofonepodcast. If you really enjoyed the show, consider leaving us a nice iTunes review, giving us a social media shout-out, or a word-of-mouth recommendation to a friend. All of those things help us find new listeners, which lead to bigger, better, and cooler things. You can also consider backing us on Patreon at patreon.com/partyofonepodcast. Patreon backers get access to bonus material, mini podcasts and interviews, and Patreon dollars help pay for hosting fees, equipment costs, and convention appearances. Speaking of convention appearances, I'm going to be at a lot of them in the month of November. Specifically, the first weekend of November, I will be at Metatopia in Morristown, New Jersey. The second weekend, I'm going to be at a Catacon in Dayton, Ohio. And the third weekend, I'm going to be back home in Philadelphia for PAX Unplugged. Track me down at any of those shows and say, hey, I'd love to meet you. If you want to hear more from me, check out All My Fantasy Children, the podcast in which Aaron Catano, Saez, and I take your listener prompts and turn them into beautiful, thriving, vibrant role-playing game children. You can find that at allmyfantasychildren.com. And if you'd like to inquire about advertising rates coming onto the show, or you just want to talk to me about Superman, because I always want to talk about Superman, you can email me at partyofonepodcast@gmail.com. Party of One is produced and edited by Jeff Stormer and Jen Frank. All music for the show comes from the song Infinite Lives by Megaran featuring the D&D Sluggers. Finally, before we wrap up, I just wanted to say thank you. It's not just our 100th episode. It's 2 days from now, from the day this episode drops, on October 26, 2017, is also our 2-year anniversary. So, thank you for being a part of this 2-year, 100-episode, wild, weird ride that Party of One has been. Thank you for hanging out with me and chatting with me and saying nice things about the show on Twitter. Thank you for coming onto the show and playing games with me and introducing me to games that I've never heard of and new experiences and games. Thank you for taking the time to listen and hang out with me for an hour a week. Thank you for everything. You know, this show is really special to me. I'd do it if no one was listening, but the fact that people listen sometimes makes it okay. It makes it a lot better. So thank you for listening. Remember to do good unto others, such that every person can be a Superman. Remember that it's never as bad as it seems, and that you're so much stronger than you think you are. Trust me. And in closing, remember that this is an imaginary story, but then again, aren't they all?